Coming to you from the second floor of the Norris University Center, this is the Daily Northwestern's men's basketball roundtable with beat writer Roger Sherman and editor Danny Daly and myself, Brian Chapata. The men's team obviously comes off a disappointing week, losing to Penn State at home 81-70, and then losing a close matchup with Wisconsin in Madison 70-63. Roger, we know the Cats are at this point all but eliminated from the NCAA tournament. With the losses, what happened, particularly against Penn State?
Well, against Penn State, everyone said this, but if you were to tell me before the game that Taylor Battle would not be their leading scorer, I'd be okay with it. But they just did not, they just did not look good, really, in that game. They were allowing these kind of players who I've never even heard of, to be honest, to get open over and over again from downtown. I didn't like what I was seeing on the defensive boards. They were allowing Penn State to, get second chances there. And it just was not a good effort at all, really. I mean, there's no other way to say it.
Well, particularly defensively, they've just been playing so poorly lately on that end. That's why they lost to Iowa. That's why they lost to Penn State. I mean, 81 points to Penn State, 78 points to Iowa. That's not pretty. And then the first half against Wisconsin shoots 75% and 10 of 11 from 2. I mean, it just got to be outrageous. And then in the second half, I guess they stepped up their press a little bit, and finally, they just had to start. Someone had to start missing eventually against them. It's law of averages, if nothing else. But yeah, I guess when we end up looking back on the season as a whole, it's just going to be their defense these past couple weeks is what's kept them out. They scored 70 points against Penn State. Scoring what ended up being 63 points in Madison. Honestly, they shot about 50% in Madison. That's pretty good, but their defense these last couple weeks has killed them.
They shot over for 50%. I forget how many turnovers they had, but it was under 10, I think. Yeah. And they lost. It's like, I don't know. And the 1-3-1 has just looked out of sorts a lot of the time. They've gotten decent results when they move to that three-quarter court press, but when that happens, it also seems like their defense past the half-court line kind of tails off a little bit too. So I don't know what happened, but somewhere this season their defense, which looked pretty decent at the beginning of the year, just kind of went away somewhere.
Well, and who knows? This could just kind of guessing here, but those starters, because the bench has been so thin this year by the injuries, those starters have played so much that, frankly, playing the 1-3-1, having to rotate as quick as you do, just having to get out to the edges, that it wouldn't shock me if they're just worn. They're just worn down, and so much of defense is quick reactions and anticipation and effort and energy that, with everyone playing as much as they've been playing, I don't blame Coach Carney for playing them that much because Alex Marcatolo kind of disappeared on him. Kyle Rowley just hasn't been usable some games.
Like last game.
Right, exactly. But it's just caught up to them a little bit at the stretch of the season where they should be making up ground, not losing it.
What struck me again about the Wisconsin game, I'll say one more thing here, is Wisconsin, if you know anything about welsh-ryan, they run this swing offense, which is this offense that he's been doing for years since he was in D, whatever he was, before he was at Wisconsin. And they didn't even make an attempt to run any plays out of it during the entire game. They pretty much just passed around the 1-3-1, and it led to open threes, and it led to their big man one-on-one against Juice Thompson down low. So teams know the 1-3-1 by this point in the year, and it's not very difficult for them to work around it.
The week ahead, you're at home against Iowa, and then you go to Penn State, and those games a few weeks ago looked like they were gimmies. They're winnable now. What do you foresee happening in those games? Are they going to be able to pick up their intensity on defense? Or?
I think so. I don't want to leave them for dead yet or anything like that. Something tells me that, and there's that second half against Wisconsin indicated, they still got a little bit left. Something tells me they've got one more push. It wouldn't shock me to see them win these last 4 games before the Big Ten tournament and then lose in the first round, just, to get to that 20 wins for the season, something like that. Because let's face it, that'd be a big accomplishment for their program that, it's never won more than 17 in the season before.
Yeah, I know they've played horribly of late, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them win out. The NIT is calling us.
Okay. That's all for this edition of the Men's Basketball Roundtable. For a complete and comprehensive recap and analysis, check out dailynorthwestern.com.